So hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome and welcome back to BSN Network here. We welcome you back here on BSN Network. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far. It is football Sunday. Yes, it is. It's going to be a very, 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 very fun, full-packed day. And obviously, this should be a fun day for football. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day so far. I know I am. It should, obviously, like I said, it's going to be a packed day. We got a lot of fantasy football news. We got a lot of fantasy basketball news, actually a lot. A couple of injuries, a couple injuries, some news on Curry, some stuff like that. And obviously, we got our regular old Sunday game picks. And obviously, big day today. It's the Battle of New York, Jets versus Giants. I'll do my picks a little bit later. I'll preview that game later on in the show. But today is going to be a packed day, so let's get right into it. So, as you can see right here, we'll get right into it here. So, last week, if you're wondering, I did win in fantasy. I won in both leagues. I won by 1 in my one league and by about like 25 in my other league. I won 120, I think by 35 actually. 125-90, I think it was, something like that. It was a kind of more of a blowout win. But I won there, and obviously in my one league I won 95-94, I think. It was a close game. So it should be a very, very, very interesting week in fantasy here. But I'm going to start it off quickly here. We got some news this morning. I do not have him on my team anymore, but we got some news this morning that Matt Stafford from the Detroit Lions, who has played pretty well the past couple of games, kind of all season, but definitely the past couple of games, has came on and played very well. There's a new report that has came out. Source told Adam Schefter that Stafford may miss this week or 3 weeks due to a fracture in his back, due to fractures in his back, multiple. So he's out right now. It still lists him as questionable on fantasy. It's projected him as 0. Don't put him in. Even though it says questionable, if you have him in at the moment, take him out immediately because he's not going to play today. Put in a different quarterback if you have one. T.Y. Hilton, really kind of a bummer today. He's going to miss, and they play the Dolphins too. He's going to miss. Hilton calf is officially out for Sunday's game against the Dolphins. Multiple reports on that. I think it's going to affect them. I really do. And I think actually Matt Stafford's going to put more of an effect on the Lions than it is with T.Y. Hilton. You know, Jacoby Brissett's out and T.Y. Hilton's out now. You got Brian Hoyer on that Colts team right now. So you got interesting quarterback situation this week. You got Matt Stafford and Brissett out. So you got Brian Hoyer in. I'm not too sure who the Lions backup is. I'll get that in a little bit. I think I'll probably be able to find them on waivers if I go in there. But I'm not too sure who their backup is. But these are two news things coming out here. Stafford I had him on the bench, but he was kind of a questionable. He was questionable all week. Yesterday, it said that it didn't say game time decision, but it still says he was a questionable, question mark. Today, Friday, it said all good. Yesterday, it said, still question mark, no more really news on him. And then this morning, actually, I got the notice that he's going to be out. And, obviously, I think that's going to be a big hit for them. They're playing a Chicago team that I think Chicago's very motivated right now. Yes, they've lost these past couple games, but it's almost like they're in need of a win. They need a win here. They need a win. And it's almost to the point where they're in desperation for a win. I think they're sitting at 3-5 right now. So this could be a big, big game for them if Stafford's out. You wonder what this backup quarterback can do. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, T.Y. Hilton, they're playing the Dolphins. But Colts still got a lot to play for here. They're still a playoff picture. They're still in the playoff picture. They got a lot to play for. And at the moment, with these two star players out, I wouldn't call Jacoby Brissett a star, but T.Y.'s been out the past couple of weeks. With him out again and Jacoby Brissett out, this could possibly be maybe a weird loss for them. You wonder what Brian Hoyer is going to do. Yes, he brings a veteran's presence to that locker room and that team, but you wonder, does he have it in him to beat the Dolphins or not? Another story today, Dolphins at the beginning of the week were so confident that they were going to be able to play. They were going to be able to play A.J. Green. They were so confident in that, and it ended up not working out for them. A.J. Green is listed as out. Some reports came on that. Get it up here. A.J. Green, everybody thought A.J. Green was playing. I thought he was playing. Green ankle has been ruled out for Sunday's game. This came out Friday. Sunday's game against the Ravens. Jay Morrison of The Athletic reports. So it's going to be interesting. And then, you got obviously Matt Stafford and A.J. Green, who are also out. T.Y., Matt Stafford, and A.J. Green are all out unless if you have them on their team. Another questionable here. I'm going to go to my team here in my starting lineup. I have him in right now. Amari Cooper. There was a report came out, both Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network and Adam Schefter of ESPN report that Cooper knee/ankle is expected to play Sunday night against the Vikings. So that's a report that came out today in the morning. So that's big for all you fantasy holders out there. I say keep Cooper in. It's always tough for me because I always have him in, but it's tough because, first when it comes to mind for me sometimes, I don't know if it comes to mind for you, but it comes to mind for me is the fact that, obviously, you wonder, is Amari Cooper going to play the whole game? Or is he going to get injured again, Or is he going to get re-injured in the game? Is he going to get many snaps? He's going to be limited. And also, it's a Sunday night game, so, it's kind of like you could get really kind of messed up if you put him in and then he's all of a sudden out Sunday night game, because obviously it would be different to 1 o'clock game. You could quickly sub somebody in. But if he's out the Sunday night game, you got all the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games, and it's going to be tough to maybe pick somebody up emergency off of waivers or something and then him not play. So it looks like he is expected to play, which usually means he's going to play. The reason that I say that, I know it's questionable still, but usually on Sundays, if these guys are game time decisions or expected to play, they usually play. The only time you really see them not play is if they're doubtful. But most of the time when they're questionable, most of them play. Questionable is more like, they have an injury, but, they played they did practice most of the week, and, it will be interesting to see what they can do. They've got a big game against the Vikings. They really need him. Cowboys, they're sitting at 6-3 right now. They could really use the win here. They could use a win, I wouldn't consider really the Eagles out of that NFC East. Eagles are still fighting for the NFC East. I don't think they'll win, but I'm saying that they're going to bring up competition. They still got one more game against the Cowboys, the Eagles do. One more game, and they're home, the Eagles. So these are must-win games for the Cowboys. So Amari Cooper's going to be bringing a big spark if he plays today. A couple guys I picked up of waivers. I had DK Metcalf, obviously, last week. He's playing San Francisco tomorrow. He's only projected 7 points. I got him in my flex. I think he'll be a good flex option for for them. I got DK Metcalf. Position rank is 16. He's averaging 8.7 points a game. And last week he had a good game. 6 receptions, 123 yards, 1 touchdown, and 20 points. And I know you might be saying, he played Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a feisty team, especially on defense. They're a feisty team. They're not a bad team. They're just offense. They get their offense, they get their quarterback situation good. They're not a bad team. They're a feisty team. They let them into overtime. So it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. He's projected 3.7 receptions, 54 yards, 0.4 touchdowns, 7 points. I think he might get about 10. I really think he's going to have a decent game. I think he'll be a good player. I got him at flex. I think good player at flex. If you're debating him or some other player, I say you put him in. There's obviously some players out there that I'll review over, but he's another guy. I picked up Ronald Jones off of waivers because Phillip Lindsay is off. Ronald Jones had a nice week last week. I think he'll have a decent week this week. Not a great run defense, not a great pass defense for this Arizona team. So I say he'll have a decent day. I don't think he's having anything special, but he'll have a decent day, kind of that. Sometimes these waiver players, you pick up, if you don't have a great waiver player out there, you pick these guys up, get some quality 8-9 points out of them here. I think on my bench, the bye weeks are Zach Ertz, Phillip Lindsay, and Leonard Fournette. So if you're on a situation like me where 2 other running backs are out, I've got Kamara going in this league, and I got Ronald Jones going in this league. Obviously, I wouldn't have to worry about it if Phillip Lindsay or Leonard Fournette wasn't in. So it should be interesting. My starting lineup here, I got Dak in, Alvin Kamara, Ronald Jones, Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams. He was questionable. He is going to play, though. Mark Andrews against Cincinnati. I think he's going to have a big day. I think he'll play good. DK Metcalf, Ravens D, Justin Tucker. I got the Ravens D to play in Cincinnati. Cincinnati can't do anything. They don't have Andy Dalton in, which might be good for them. Andy Dalton has done nothing. But if you look at it, who's Andy Dalton working with? I mean, I guess his semi-good receiver is IR, and that's John Ross. I mean, I wouldn't call him really that good. Tyler Boyd had a couple good weeks. Now he's not that good. Joe Mixon he's underachieved. I mean, that's why I think they were really looking forward to having AJ Green this week, because maybe he'll bring a spark to the team, but I don't think they're going to have a big day. So I say if you're looking for a team, I picked them off of waivers. If you're looking for a team, go with Ravens D. If you're looking for a defense, go with them. They're playing Cincinnati. They're playing an awful, awful offense in Cincinnati. Cincinnati can't get the ball anywhere. So I say go with Ravens defense. My bench, obviously, Zach Ertz, T.Y. Hilton, Phillip Lindsay, Leonard Fournette, Matt Stafford, and A.J. Green. I really do think here that my players of the week here, I think that Kamara's going to have a good day. This Atlanta team can't do anything right. I think Amari Cooper's going to have a decent game. Devontae Adams will have a decent game. I think probably Mark Andrews might have one of his better games of the season. And the reason I say that, once again, they're playing up a banged up. Not really just banged up. They're just a bad team. The bad Cincinnati team. So I got Mark Andrews and Ravens D going in one of my leagues. Right now I'm sitting at 4-5. I'm projected 107. My opponent's projected 117, although they already had Keenan Allen play. Keenan Allen had 8 receptions for 68 yards, 7 points. Not bad. If you're not in a PPR league, he did get 7 points. Not bad, really. Not bad. Fairly overall on the waiver wires here. Some top overall quarterbacks. Obviously, Phillip Rivers, who played bad. I don't know if I would want him on your team, really. Some I think might have picked him up. But I don't really know if you really want him on your team. He hasn't played great this season. He hasn't had too many great games, 23, 10, 18, 24, 14, 21, 10, 11, 10. It's not really that good for a quarterback. What is he averaging? He's only averaging 14 points a game, which isn't good for a quarterback. 14 points a game is not good for a quarterback. Some quarterbacks are averaging 20, 18, 20 up there. I think Mahomes is averaging 22 or something points per game. 14's not good. He's 12th in the position rank, but, there's been some quarterbacks that have struggled horribly this season. So he got 10 points. Daniel Jones today against the Jets and Brian Hoyer today against Miami. Brian Hoyer, I don't know if you would really want to pick him up. He's not bad. He had 14 points last week. But, I don't know. They're playing Miami. He's projected 15. It's debatable. It would be a debatable move. If it's I say Hoyer's going to be your, last option. If he's really, the only guy out there. Daniel Jones today against the Jets. I think he'll have a decent day. I don't think he's going to be – I think that Jets game's, I'm gonna spoil it a little bit. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. They're two offenses. Jets are, I think, worse than the Giants on offense, but the Giants are definitely worse than the Jets on defense. It's going to be a bad game. So I don't think Daniel Jones is going to have a big day. Maybe 10, 15 points, somewhere around there. I don't think he's going to have a big day, though. Top available running backs, Jamal Williams on the Packers. He's played pretty well against the Carolina Panthers. Not bad. Ty Johnson against Chicago. He's only projected 6. And Edmonds. Who is this? Trey Edmonds projected 6 as well. They're playing a good Rams D. They're playing a good Chicago D. I say if you're going to go out there and you have Jamal Williams on waivers, maybe take Jamal Williams. If you're like me and you need a running back, running backs are kind of for the beginning of the week because everybody kind of takes them because they're usually they get a lot of points for you. You're looking for a running back now, Jamal Williams, I guess, but it's kind of tough. Receivers, Jamison Crowder, I guess, against the Jets. He had a decent week last week. He had, I think, 10 points last week? 14 last week. Ain't bad. Against the Giants secondary, he might put up a little, maybe, good game. I don't know, though. Curtis Samuel against Green Bay. Just some, not great players here. Tight ends, nothing too crazy. Flexes, there's a couple guys for flex, running backs, whatever. On top overall D, Browns are out there, Jets are out there, Buccaneers are out there. I think if you're looking for a defense and you couldn't get Ravens or you really couldn't get Colts, you might look at the Browns because the Bills don't have a good offense. I wouldn't say look at the Jets because the Jets' defense isn't that great this season. They're not bad, but they're not great. And I do think the Jets will lose this game. Maybe Buccaneers. Buccaneers is defense, but they're going up against an actually pretty good offense in the Cardinals. So it should be interesting. All right, so that's what we got for one of my leagues. Now we move into the other league and see what we can do here. Last week I won, and this week by 1.4-5. I need a win. Mahomes is playing this week against Tennessee. There was a lot of rumors about that. Really a lot of rumors about that. There was a ton. A lot of people thought, I wouldn't say I'm one of them, but some people thought that, he shouldn't have played. Because Matt Moore, not that Matt Moore's better or anything, but Matt Moore's played good. It's not like the Jets where they were almost in desperation to get Darnold back. Luke Falk was doing nothing. Darnold hasn't done much either himself. 6, 2. So what do you have? 2, 2. So he's got 2, 4. He had what? 2 last? He had 2 against the. Okay. So Darnold had 1 first week, 2 against the Cowboys. That's 3. So that's 3 and 2. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Then I'm not too sure. I can't really do it in my head right now. But yeah, it's almost like he hasn't done much without him. So it was almost like Mahomes, they weren't really. It was almost like the Saints, or the Jaguars. They didn't need to rush Drew Brees or Nick Foles back. Not Nick Foles, yeah, Nick Foles. They didn't need to rush him back. They didn't really need to. Gardner Minshew playing awesome, and Teddy Bridgewater is playing awesome as well. Mahomes, I don't want to say they rushed him back, but they kind of got him back a little quicker than I think they really could have. I think they could have beat the Titans today without without Mahomes. I think they could have beat the Titans today without Mahomes. Green Bay would have been without Mahomes. So Tennessee, they could have beat them. They could have beat Chargers without Mahomes. Then give Mahomes a bye week and then come back and play Oakland, which is actually going to be an interesting game. And then you have New England. That would be the time to bring Mahomes back. But obviously, Mahomes obviously going to play. He's kind of back a little early. If you play Darren Waller, he only got me 4 points. Didn't have a great day. I started him over Mark Andrews. I just felt like he's been playing so well for me. I put in Darren Waller, but obviously not going to work out. AJ Green's obviously out. I'm benching Bears defense. With Stafford out, I don't know. This defense just hasn't played very well, and I've got Ravens D in this league as well. Chris Godwin, I am benching. He's been great for me, but I've got Kupp at my flex, Evans at my receiver, and Adams at my other receiver. Evans has just played unreal. So I think, obviously, I think here this should be a interesting game. Detroit Bears is going to be an interesting game. Almost two good teams, but, I think they're two kind of must-win games, especially for the Bears. Bears lose this game, and they're in jeopardy. What are they? I think now 3-5. They would be in a bad position if they lose this game and they go 3-6. It would be bad. You're talking possibility of. It would be bad. 3-6. This team had such high hopes this season. With the defense hasn't really underachieved. Just the past few weeks, they haven't played that very. There's a point where this defense is on the field so much. There's a point where you can't be on the field for more than half the game and play stellar. This offense isn't putting any production for them. And this defense is either always playing behind or they're playing, they're either playing behind or they're playing tied. They've never been really playing ahead. And that's where, the offense has got to come in. There's a point where defense does win championships, but there's also a point where the offense needs to do some things. You can't just have defense Like, you can't just have a defense, and that's all they've got. There's a point where your offense keeps going 3 and out. Your defense can't be out there. These guys out there, right? Let's just say they stop them. A long drive. Go to the sideline. Punt, right? They get about, a minute and a half off, and then they're right back out there. You can't do that. It's just not enough. Like, especially week after week after week. These players get beat up on a weekly basis. You can't be putting them out there every minute and a half. This is where they need to find out a new quarterback. Get some receivers. Get a new running back. Tariq Cohen hasn't played bad. Montgomery, I think, will start. I take that back, actually, what I said. Don't really need to get a new running back. Montgomery should be the main, though, definitely. Mark Andrews, I've got also benched. I regret kind of benching him because, Waller's in, and I don't want to take out Kupp. I don't want to take out Kupp because I do think Kupp's going to have a big day against Pittsburgh. Golf, I'm obviously benching just because I have Mahomes in. And then Sony Michel's on a bye. AJ Green is out. My lineup for this team is Pat Mahomes, Saquon Barkley. I think Barkley's going to have a bigger day than last week. He only got 9 points last week. I think he'll do better. I think he's playing, I don't know, really worse D, but the Jets are just a train wreck right now. I mean, they're just train wreck, and the fire's just spreading on the train right now. It's like one by one, just things get fall. Like, beginning of the season, it's kind of how the Jets season gone. Beginning of the season was stable. Even though we lost the first game, it wasn't it was a painful loss. We could have won, but it wasn't like a loss where okay, this is a bad loss. It wasn't really like that kind of loss. It was just, didn't get the kicker situation right. We lost by 1, 17-16, right? Everybody was like, okay, we'll be fine. I personally thought we'll be fine too. I mean, I predicted the Jets this season to go 7-9. I did not think they were going to make the playoffs. I thought they were going to go 7-9. I think there would be improvement. Did not think they would go 1-7. Although there's always that thing in the Jets fan back of their mind that they're going to go 0-16. I have nightmares about that. I'm just kidding. It's always been like that, though. You almost assume every season they're going to go 0-16. But anyway, so obviously this happens. They lose week 1. Personally, I was okay with it. I thought they were going to come back and beat the Browns. And then it was almost and then Darnold got mono. And that's kind of when it kind of struck you our season could be in jeopardy. You're telling me we're going to beat the Browns with a backup quarter, beat the Patriots with a backup quarterback, beat the Eagles with a backup quarterback, beat the Cowboys. At the moment, I thought we were going to have to beat the Cowboys with a backup quarterback as well. I didn't think we were going to get Donald back actually until, was it last week's game? It might have been something like that, a week or two ago. I did not think we were going to get him back that early. We lost to the Browns, obviously lost to the Patriots, lost to the Eagles, ended up beating obviously lost to the Patriots again, beat the Cowboys though. It's kind of been like that. So I think it's going to be a continued theme. I think that Barkley's going to have a good day. Chris Carson, I think he's going to have a good game playing San Francisco. Hoping that he can get some points. They might have to rely a little bit more on the pass game because of how good that defensive fronts have been for the 49ers, but I think he'll be doing okay. Devontae Adams, I think, is going to have a stellar day. A rebound from last week. Mike Evans, kind of can continue the same theme, I think. Darren Waller obviously already played. Cooper Kupp was playing. Cooper Kupp against Pittsburgh. Ravens D against Cincinnati. And Justin Tucker, obviously, against Cincinnati as well. Some players on the waiver wire here. It's big that Mahomes is playing. I really do think it's big for that team. It really is. Jameis Winston. He's out there. Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray. Out of all those three, I say look at Kyler Murray. He's kind of been the best out of them three. Jameis Winston, you can't rely on. Matt Ryan, that team's just a train wreck. And Kyler Murray is, the team isn't great, but it's not bad. It's not bad. They're 3-6-1? It's not that bad. They make that interception in game 1, they're 4-5 right now. Because, very true, they make that interception, they're 4-5 right now. No, they're 4-6, right? Yeah. But yeah, there was that one play. Stafford threw it, went right through the guy's hands. It was a pick six too. It was obvious. It was obvious. Running backs, Samuels is out there as well. Jalen Samuels. for Jalen Samuels is out there for the Steelers. Ronald Jones, I don't have him in this league. He's out there, though. Devin Singletary. I think Singletary's going to have a decent game. He had a decent game. Last week, he had 20 points. Singletary's pretty underrated. He's averaging 11 points a game. He's pretty underrated. He's a pretty good running back. Good in the receiving and running game. And, I think Frank Gore is kind of that kind of guy that he's a good third down back, kind of can get grind out 2-3 yards for you. And then as for, obviously, Yeldon's, he's just not a great ball handle. He doesn't have he has great carrying. And Singletary is kind of more like the go-to guy, I think, on that team there. Not a great third down back, but, you need to get him third down and 3, you put in Gore. Gore's kind of like that at this age. Marvin Jones Jr., Chicago, I think he'll have a decent game. I think it's going to be a little tough for him, only because he doesn't have his starting quarterback in, and Phillip Rivers has played great, but I wouldn't say great. He's played very good this season. Allen Robinson against Detroit, and Williams already played against Oakland. Allen Robinson, that team just can't do anything right in the receiving. In the offense, their offense is horrific. That Chicago offense might be one of the worst offenses in all of the NFL. Not even kidding. Defenses, if you're out there, Chiefs. I think Chiefs will have a decent game against the Titans. I know they aren't a great team, but the Titans just can't do much. Tannehill's not playing bad. It's just not good enough, I don't think. So that's what we got for fantasy football. In this league, I'm projected 108 to 115. I'm projected lower. This person I'm playing has already got Keenan Allen in, obviously, and I've already have Darren Waller, so I need big day out of Mahomes. Mahomes and Adams, I think, are my two biggest days. Mahomes, I need to return, make a big mark, and Adams needs to have it back. Barkley needs to also have a turnaround week. These guys are it's also the point of the season where I'm trying to make the playoffs. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm tied for second in this league right now. Tied for second. I'm on the outside looking in, and the person that's tied for second with me is playing one of the worst teams in the league, so it is the worst team in the league. So they'll probably win. So I'm just going to I got to win this game. I really do. Move to 500 here. So anyway, so that's what we got for fantasy football. Coming up next is fantasy basketball. A lot of news in fantasy basketball here. Just a ton of news here in fantasy basketball. Just over the couple of days. And you never want to see this news kind of come out, but a lot of news here. A lot of news since the last time I do the show, which is sometimes annoying because I only do these shows, obviously, on Sundays and all that, but, kind of just reviews the whole week and, stuff like that. But obviously, whenever things happen, I always want to do a show on it, but obviously just today here. So, anyway, so let's get into it. So, I made a big trade this week in fantasy basketball. Obviously, I gave up Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, and Jamal Murray. I got LeBron James, who, awesome player. Just one of the greatest basketball players ever to play. He's put up some crazy points this year. 22, 42, 23, 56, 19. It just doesn't get much better than that. So obviously, he's a very great player. And I got Kevin Love, too, who's kind of a sleeper, to be honest, to me. He's fourth in the position rank. He's putting up 28 points a game is his average. 23, 23, 30, 28, 36. That's kind of just a little bit of his game log. He's averaging 18.5 points for for actually in game, and for fantasy, he's averaging 28. But it's definitely, he's a very good player. Off of waivers, because I gave up 3 for 2, I had the one empty spot on my bench. I got Eric Bledsoe, who I think is a very good player, very underrated. Giannis is kind of the whole guy in that team, but Bledsoe, you don't hear much about. You kind of hear more about Chris Middleton and Giannis. It's kind of the whole talk on that team, but Bledsoe is very, very good. I think he's 7th in his position rank, 10th in his position rank, actually. 24, 20, 28, 20, 23. He's a very good player. 16.9 is his average. Luka Doncic I kept. I gave up Porzingis. Porzingis just has underachieved a little bit for me. He's injured at the moment, so it's almost like Kuzma hasn't played well either. So I gave up Kuzma. Kuzma was almost like a James White situation for me, in fantasy football. I like James White. He wasn't that good, though. So I thought I could get something out of him. Sure enough, I traded him for, forget what I gave up. Was it the Edelman trade? I think I might have gave him in one of my trades to get Evans and Sony Michel. Not too sure, though. But anyway, so Jared Allen, obviously, I got in tonight. So my starting lineup, Westbrook, Harden, Tatum, LeBron James, Kevin Love, Eric Bledsoe, Tobias Harris, Luka Doncic, Jared Allen, Bodan Bogdanovic. So some injury things here. Yes, the Raptors play today, but some of the injuries, Buddy Hield's on my bench. He doesn't have an injury, but Kyle Lowry is out. He got injured in the last game against New Orleans. Lowry's thumb will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Rachel Ricolis of the ESPN reports. He's had an excellent season for me. He's played so well for me, and this is a big loss. Ibaka, I did drop Draymond. I don't know if it was last podcast, but I did drop Draymond. If you guys didn't know that yet, I picked up Serge Ibaka off of waivers. He's day-to-day, but it ain't looking good for the ankle. Ibaka suffered a pretty bad sprained ankle in Friday's win over the Pelicans and is without a timetable for return. Andrew Lopez of the ESPN reports Ibaka will undergo further imaging on his ankle. So it should be interesting. He's played well for me too. These are just guys that have played so well for me getting injured. Also some breaking news. They're not on my team, but Steph Curry is probably going to miss the whole season. Gordon Hayward is broke his wrist, I think it is, or fractured something in his hand. So he's out indefinitely. And then, obviously Kyle Lowry and Ibaka. So those are 5 injury kind of reports there. I think Lowry and Ibaka will be fine, but not Gordon. Hayward and Hayward and Curry are definitely probably out for the rest of the season. So that's probably pretty bad for the Warriors. Warriors are awful. They've been playing awful. They're 2-8. And there was a report by Bleacher Report this morning that said, Warriors, it's over. The dynasty's over. The dynasty lasted, 4 years, 5 years? I think 5 years about, from 2015 to now about. Dynasty over. It's over. And it is. They're not going to make the playoffs this season. D'Lo can't carry that team. He kind of carried the Nets last year, but, he carried the Nets to losing in 5 against the Sixers. So, he didn't get too far with them. And that's not really the Warriors' way. The Warriors, this just goes to show you that they needed, and KD must be laughing right now because this just goes to show you they need KD. Without Curry, without Klay Thompson, without Draymond Green, and without Kevin Durant, they can't win. They can't win. And this just proves my point. And this proves almost everybody's point who watches NBA. It's 1 or 2 players on that whole team that make the difference. You don't have those 1 or 2 players is out. Like LeBron, last season when he was out, that team was playing so great. And then when he injured his groin, that team went back to the old Lakers. And they could never rebound. This season, they're 8-7-1 or something. Best team in the league right now on an 8-game win streak ever since they lost opening night. They've been playing great. LeBron and AD, great combo so far. That just goes to show you that all you need is about 1 or 2 players on a team to make it great. And the Warriors had Curry and KD, Draymond and Klay, 4 really good players. And look, they're all kind of. Draymond will come back. Klay's done, and Curry's done. Obviously, KD's on the Nets now. He's also injured, but, we all understood that, and it wasn't like it was some weird news. He was injured. So, obviously, it's going to be quite interesting here because it's going to be interesting. What are they going to do with Draymond? What are they going to do with Klay? Are they going to start a rebuild, or are they going to keep this franchise? Are they going to keep this team going? It's this is always going to be something. It's going to be interesting here because, you wonder what the Warriors are going to do. What's their next step? If they miss the playoffs this season, Curry doesn't come back. Draymond comes back but doesn't do much. Obviously, he's got that torn ligament in his finger. What are you going to do with this franchise? Are you going to go through a rebuild? Are you going to kind of strip things down and kind of, get some nice draft picks, get some good players, do free agency? Or are you going to see what you can still do? And this is really going to test the Warriors. Is it going to test the Warriors? Can the Warriors face a losing season or not? This is going to test them. This really will be one of the bigger tests here. Can the Warriors face a kind of almost like a little bit of a rebuild, and then, or can they face a little bit of a rebuild, or will they have to go out and continue to try to win? It's going to be it's going to be the big thing. Big thing here. Obviously, it's going to be very interesting. So anyway, so that's what we got about the Warriors here. Top overall players for me: Morant, Draymond, and Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday is very good. Jrue Holiday is a very good player. Under kind of that leader of that Pelicans team, especially without Zion there, Brandon Ingram and Jrue Holiday have played pretty good together. Jrue Holiday's out there. John Morant's day-to-day. He got off yesterday due to rest purposes. Let's see if there's any new report on it. He's played very good this season. Morant will not play Saturday's game against the Mavericks for rest purposes. So I think, he's kind of day-to-day, but, sometimes when they rest, it means they might have a little bit of soreness and something, or maybe did something, but I don't think it's anything crazy. Maybe just rest. Draymond's out. Let's see if there's any more news on him. Wednesday, Greenfinger isn't traveling with the Warriors and has been ruled out for team's 3-game road trip that begins Wednesday in Houston. Logan Murdoch of the San Jose Mercury News reports. So it's almost like the Warriors. They left Oracle and now they stink. Point guards, Curry's out obviously. Jrue Holiday's there and Morant's still there. Morant's day to day, but it's just rest. He'll be back next game, more than likely. I'll tell you what, who's been pretty underrated. LeVert. He's played pretty good this season. He's played good for the Nets this season. He's a pretty underrated player. He's played pretty good for the Nets this season. So that's what I got here. I'm 2-0, looking for a win. I'm currently winning against my opponent, 663 to 573. I would like a win against 3-0 here. So anyway, it's time here for the Sunday football game picks here as we wrap up the show. 37 minutes into here. We got about 8 minutes left. We got to do this quite quickly here. All right, we got it up here. Alrighty, so we got an interesting week here. So on the Thursday night game, I chose the Chargers to win. I obviously got that one wrong. 26-24 Raiders won. I thought the Chargers were going to win, coming off of a big win, almost like they had kind of momentum with the new offensive coordinator, and obviously I was wrong, so obviously I'm already starting off the week here 0-1. So let's see what we can do here. So Jets, Giants, I'll preview that game in a little bit. Starting off Falcons, Saints. Falcons, Dan Quinn's this is it for him. And this is what the Jets, this is what people have been saying. Dan Quinn and Adam Gase. I mean, they've always said about Adam Gase, that's all I've heard, but I guess the same with Dan Quinn. If somehow Adam Gase turns this thing around and the Jets go 9-7 and show insane improvements, they might keep Gase. Dan Quinn, same thing. Turn around and all of a sudden go 9-7, show insane improvements, they might keep him. But at the moment, both coaches are going to get fired, I think. Falcons are going to get blown out. I say it's not even going to be close. I'm not even going to say the Falcons stick around. I say the Saints will win. big. Chiefs-Titans. This is going to be an interesting game. Titans almost have seemed to play a little bit better. With Tannehill starting. But I think the Chiefs with Mahomes, they're just going to play better. I think it might be close early just because the two defenses aren't great. But I think the Chiefs take this thing and run with it. Chiefs win. I think big. Ravens-Bengals. This is going to be an interesting game for the Bengals. What's the backup quarterback can do? At this point in the season, is the backup quarterback going to be able to change things? Is he going to show some hope? Is he going to show a spark in this offense? What is he going to do? Is he going to show you that you don't need to draft a quarterback? Is he going to show you that, you don't need to be tanking for a quarterback? Or what is he going to show you? That's what's interesting about the Bengals. I don't think this game's interesting. This is going to be a blowout. And the Ravens have all the momentum in the world right now. They beat the Patriots. They have all the momentum in the world right now. Ravens crushed the Bengals big time. Bills-Browns. This is an interesting game. The Bills are 6-2 and the Browns are 2-6, but it's almost like these teams are kind of even. Two teams have offenses, but both teams have good defenses. It's almost like they're both the same, except it's almost like the offenses just hurt the Browns more because they don't have that explosive D like the Bills do. But the Browns do have Kareem Hunt coming back here. I think he might be a little rusty. But this Bills D is more known for the passing D than the running D. I say the Browns run the ball a lot with Kareem Hunt. It's going to be a close game, I think. But I say the Bills win. And it's going to be close. It's going to come down to a couple final drives. It's going to come down to that. Buccaneers-Cardinals. This is kind of a game where, both teams are kind of looking for a win. Both teams kind of need a win. It's going to be interesting. I think Ronald, obviously, like I said, with fantasy, Ronald Jones is going to have a nice day against the Cardinals. I would say Cardinals would win this game, but against the Buccaneers, the Cardinals don't have a defense. I got the Buccaneers winning this game. We got to speed up here. Lions-Bears, I got the Bears winning this game. Lions, I think, without Matthew Stafford, I think the Bears will turn things around. Not big scoring game. I think the Bears will win, though. Colts-Dolphins, I got the Colts winning. They're the Dolphins, even though with a backup quarterback. Brian Hoyer showed flashes last week. Threw 3 touchdowns. So, I think the Colts, if they keep the game under control and they slow it down, Colts should win. Packers-Panthers. Packers, I think, will rebound. They'll rebound and beat the Panthers here. They'll rebound after that ugly loss last week against the Chargers. Rams-Steelers. Steelers, they're good. They're looking good right now. They're looking good. I gotta say the Rams will win, though. I really do think the Rams will win. Steelers are kind of on a streak here, but I say the Rams will win this game. Cowboys-Vikings, big Sunday night game here. Vikings, great team. Cowboys, great team. Two teams looking for a nice win. I got the Cowboys winning. Home field advantage. Cooper plays. Elliott's going to have a nice day. Dak's going to have a nice day. Cowboys win for those reasons. Seahawks, 49ers, kind of the biggest primetime game of the year so far. This is a big game for this division here. Big game here. I have the 49ers winning only because they're home. If they went to Seattle and played in that loud crowd, I would not have them winning. But they are home, so I have the 49ers winning. Alrighty. So that's what we got for the game picks. We're running short on time here. For the Jets-Giants game, the Jets coming off of a loss to the Dolphins, I am kind of infuriated with this franchise right now, this team. This will be our 10th season without making the playoffs, 10th straight season without making the playoffs. Giants at Jets on Fox. I say the Giants win. I got the Giants winning 21-17. I think the Jets will bring up a fight. I think it's going to be an ugly game. They have turnovers in. It's the Tank Bowl. They call it the New York Bowl, but this year it's the Tank Bowl. I got the Giants winning this game, although I really want the Jets to win because I hate the Giants, but want the Jets to win, but hopefully they will, but anyway. Go Jets. Alrighty. So that's what we got for the pod here. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. It was a good pod. Did a lot, talked about a lot here. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and like always, thanks for watching.